Hello and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be talking about the fact that Manor, after it fell into administration in the middle of January, has now pulled out of Formula 1 after failing to seek a buyer ahead of the 2017 Formula 1 season. This is the very sad news that there will only be 20 cars on the grid with only 10 teams after the final of the 3 teams that came into the sport in 2010 has finally faltered, as HRT, they conked out in 2013 along with Caterham. Manor somehow were on the grid in 2014, but have finally conked out at the end of 2016. Yeah, this is very sad and desperate news, for the Manor Racing team. They were not able to compete in the final few races of the 2014 season, as far as I remember, but after new buyers, after the likes of Graham Loudon ended their Formula 1 journey at the end of 2015. 2016 was meant to be a new age for Manor F1, and there was real hope and sense of optimism. They got that. Sorry, excuse me, and they got that point in Austria with Pascal Wehrlein getting P10, and the money that they would have got from finishing 10th in the constructors would have been enough to save them, but unfortunately for Manor and unfortunately for Formula 1, they didn't, with Felipe Nasr getting 9th place in Brazil was enough to stop them and enough to ultimately end their Formula 1 journey. I'm not saying this is Nasr's fault, but that's kind of the reality of Formula 1. Whose fault this is? Well, it's no one's fault in reality. It's just unfortunate because the people who owned Manor didn't have enough assets to continue to supply Manor F1 due to the finances required for Formula 1. So they pulled out. That then forced Manor into administration. I think it was the 11th of January. And since then they've been looking for a buyer. But unfortunately, they've not been able to get a buyer. And as a result, everyone has now been made redundant at Manor. And yesterday they released a picture of what their 2017 car would have looked like in its basic form had they been able to race. And to be honest, it doesn't look that inspiring. I'll leave a link to the article in which they show their car down below. But it kind of looks like the stock pictures of a 2017 spec that we've seen. It doesn't look very inspiring. Obviously, it's difficult to try and piece it together because it's only in its mould form, no paint job or anything on it. So you can't exactly imagine it being on a track, but you can kind of see what's happened with it. But let's get back on track, and the whole point of this is the fact that Manor has ended its Formula 1 journey. The 3 teams, HRT, Lotus and Virgin, that what they were originally back in 2010, have all pulled out. HRT was the first to go, a few races from the end in 2013. Caterham, well, what was Caterham back in 2013, what was originally Lotus, then renamed Caterham in 2012, then that conked out after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in 2013, driven by Will Stevens and Kamui Kobayashi in that race, believe it or not. So that's when they went, and Manor have since gone as well. So this is oh, sorry, Caterham ended in 14, didn't it? Sorry, do apologise. I said 2013. No, they ended in 2014. I remember now. With Kamui Kobayashi and Will Stevens driving for them in 2014, but they didn't have enough money to get into 2015, and Lotus didn't want to embarrass themselves as well. but it was mainly due to financial reasons that they pulled out in the end. As for Manor, this kind of revitalised age has been a bit more promising. Obviously, they got the 2 points in in Monaco back in 2014, as of the late Jour Bianchi. And as I say, they got the point this year with Pascal Wehrlein, but this is the end of the road for them, unfortunately. Which, as I was kind of leading on to before, is not the fault of anyone. This is, in my opinion, the legacy of Bernie Ecclestone. I know this might seem a bit harsh, but I do honestly believe that this is the legacy of Bernie Ecclestone, because in this era of Formula One, where the money distribution is so unequal, is so like a dictatorial, authoritarian regime, that the whole point of it all is for entertainment and it's a sport. But Bernie now he has been kind of deposed by Chase Carey, which I'm also going to cover in this video. This has now ended an era of Formula One that has been a dictatorship, and now more an equal distribution of money, which will allow a healthier sport, which will allow a more competitive ordering of races. You know, in the past there's been such opportunities for teams like Williams and Force India to really test the big boys, but they don't have the funds, they don't have the money, especially Force India. They finished 4th this year in the Constructors' Championship. They got 2 podiums, Sergio Perez in Monaco and Baku. Come on. Force India, they need the money. If they had the money, they'd be giving Merck, Red Bull, Ferrari a real hard time, but they don't have the money, you know. And, you know, it is as a result of this unequal distribution of funds that results in the way the prize money is given out, that means that Manor has been deposed. You know, after Kerry and Liberty took over Formula 1 last week, the first thing he said, which to me is very, very, very encouraging, is that Ferrari is likely to lose its historic prize money of being the founder of Formula 1 and all this jazz. In the 21st century, that's so outdated. So they say that's going to go, and that's going to go back in the pot. So there's more money for the teams at the bottom, like Sauber, like Force India, like Toro Rosso, McLaren, Haas, and so on. And also for the new team coming forward. If that has been the case for the past few years, as I say, Manor probably wouldn't have gone. So for me, this is the legacy of Ecclestone and the poor distribution of funds that is taking place. What is the point of having a sport that is so unequal in distribution of funds that it drains all the teams away? You know, a healthy sport is when you've got close teams, close racing, on really, really some of the best tracks in the world, with an interesting qualifying format and session, although don't play with that too much, as Bernie told everybody when he absolutely royally screwed qualifying at the start of last season. But anyway, back to this. When you have kind of a better composition with more equal distribution of funds, then you get a healthy sport, and then you get more people involved, then you get greater interaction, then you get more sponsorship, and then you get more money from outside rather than scrutinising the teams from the inside. That's what he's doing. He's just hurting himself and has been hurting the sport, and that has finally come to an end with the end of the Ecclestone era. So now the second part of the video is going to be about Liberty and the takeover, which I've kind of already been ensuing. But Manor, unfortunately, has been deposed as a result of the Ecclestone legacy. Now, what can we expect in the Liberty era? with Liberty Media being headed by Chase Carey, former Hollywood supremo and businessman. So he has the knowledge, he has the expertise, and he is definitely going to be specialising. But between now and when the new sporting regulations are imposed in 2020, what he can do is he can revitalise the digital age, which I expect to be really flourishing for 2018. More equal distribution of funds, potentially before the new sporting regulation. Will certainly be on the cards to be enforced by 2020, and possibly even before that. He'll try and insert it in, and he's got Ross Brawn on board, so that's going to really help. One of the key people, obviously part of the Schumacher era, has been really important in the Mercedes dominance of recent years. Obviously, he got axed in 13, but it was due to his work that they've been in the position they've been in. He got his own team himself, and he won the championship with Jenson Button, and Rubens Barrichello got a double championship that year. So he has been around the block a few times and knows how to do things, is my point, basically. So that is really good. Sporting regulation, that will work, that will make the sport interesting, that will allow the underdog story. Chase Carey has already said that, you want an underdog story, like, I don't know, rather than Mercedes not winning almost every Grand Prix and Red Bull winning the other two, maybe we could have, I don't know, Force India winning a race, or McLaren. Well, obviously, we'd like to see McLaren on a more consistent basis at the front, and we wouldn't like that to be an underdog story, like Toro Rosso on the podium, or Haas inside the top 5, or even on the podium. Some of these backmarker teams getting a surprise result, and you just have that opportunity because the top teams are so top and the bottom teams are so bottom. There's just nowhere in between. The gulf between the times in qualifying since really about 2010 has been just ridiculous. Well, 2012 was quite close. Since 2012, but yeah, it's just been incredible, really. About a second was about the average between Mercedes and the rest last year. That's not meant to be Formula One. Which, also, I'd like to put this out there, if this continues, how long will Formula One as a healthy sport survive, with Formula E more and more and more starting to come into ever-increasing prominence? Can Formula One actually survive? Will it be able to survive with the growth of Formula E, with the growth of electric car technology? Mercedes are going for Season 5, so next year, the second half of next year, you will see a Mercedes Formula E team, as you will see a Ferrari Formula E team. If they see the technology and if they see the future in Formula E rather than Formula 1, Formula 1 will die and lose two of the biggest car companies in the world, Mercedes and Ferrari. So Formula 1 needs to get its act together, but luckily I think we're in a great place right now. Chase Carey and Liberty Media, they're coming and revitalising the sport to bring it out of the dark ages and out of the medieval period and bring it back up to 21st century with digital age, new technology, with more competitive field, with more appropriate sporting regulations to try and bring into effect. If they see, these new cars actually don't work and don't actually improve the racing, they'll be like, well, for 2020, this is what's happening. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that these regulations are pretty much locked in stone until about 2020. That would seem appropriate, but I think if they spot that, then we will get the groundwork done early, so everyone's up to scratch and up to speed for 2020 to make it a properly good sport for then, and also for now. They'll make small tweaks to make it good now, and also to try and set the groundwork for the future. And the more equal distribution of funds, that's also been very top priority on Chase's list. So as I say, the historic funds from Ferrari, that will go out the window, and we'll see greater distribution of funds for teams like Force India and Williams and Toro Rosso and Haas F1 getting more money, with Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull not getting as much as they have been in previous years, which is going to make a healthier sport naturally, and bringing more investors who are like, we're actually going to get a decent amount and not be like stranded on like 50 million, where Mercedes are getting like 150 million, well, about 100 million ish to spend on their car. So that's kind of the point of that. And also calendar. He's talked about calendar. The British Grand Prix has been under threat, and he said that they want to secure a British Grand Prix. I'm sure that's going to happen quite now. And the other thing, they said they want to go to more iconic cities, so expect either New York or Washington to be on the calendar by 2020, and to secure more iconic historic Formula 1 events. See, I don't know, possibly Argentina, possibly a race in Holland, with obviously the Verstappen kind of era is going to be upon us quite shortly, I think. So those kind of places, I think, is what they're after. Although he has said he doesn't want to make it like NASCAR with like 35 races. He wants to keep the Formula 1 basis, but wants to kind of branch out but secure races. Let's hope also he gets rid of the not so good events like Baku and Sochi, because they have been disappointing, and it has just been Bernie and his pocket that is occupied, I'm afraid. And finally, I want to talk about his TV. Free-to-air TV has been under threat. Spain, they don't have it. America, they don't have it. Australia, they don't have it. And it's soon to go in places like Britain and France and Germany. It is no longer free-to-air in Germany, so you're losing television audiences. And when you have Formula E, in IndyCar and Rally, MotoGP, all on free-to-air TV. Admittedly, in the UK, you have to watch it the next day, but when other motorsports are now starting to take over in terms of accessibility compared to Formula 1, then naturally the audience of Formula 1 is going to go down, and the audiences of the likes of Formula E is going to go up and up and up. So in order to grow Formula 1, in order to sustain Formula 1, you need to make it more accessible to all people. So that's kind of a review. So Manor has gone into administration, has gone out of administration and has ended its Formula 1 productivity, and a new era of Formula 1 is upon us. Will it be right? Will it be wrong? What will the outcome be? Is Chase Carey the man running from the job? Let me know down in the comments below. But thank you for watching. See you later. Goodbye.